Well, there's essentially two real options that are at Sisi's in his disposal, and he's been taking one in the past and more increasingly the other as recently. He's had a scorched earth type of policy towards the Sinai Peninsula. A lot of force, very aggressive, very brute kind of trying to bring down this insurgency. But what we're seeing now is something more of a surge type of element, a cooperation on part of the regime, trying to harness the local Bedouin tribes to their own benefit to try to combat this Islamic State affiliated group. And so we've seen that with two tribes, the Tarabin and the Sawarq, I believe their name is, where we've already seen that those tribes used to give support to the Islamic State affiliate. Now they're actually cooperating with the regime. So potentially a more beneficial type of policy there that really takes a more of a two-pronged approach to this.
All right, Michael, so we know clearly, we were covering this at length. Many analysts are saying the North Sinai region has been a Wild West kind of, not very populous, difficult access, from Cairo, certainly. How must that change? How can and how will it change, perhaps, in light of this horrific attack?
Well, the terrain isn't going to change, Jeff. I mean, the terrain is the terrain, and it is, as you said, a very, very challenging one. And in the previous answer, I've just spoken to how Sisi doesn't necessarily have a very formulated strategy. But even for a leader who would have a very formulated strategy, this would still be a very challenging terrain to fight an insurgency. And we're talking about an underpopulated area, very rugged, mountainous, desert type of terrain with a lot of ins, a lot of outs for people to hide out in. So even with a very well-formulated strategy, good intelligence, and a solid fighting force, none of which Sisi has, this would still be a very challenging task.